Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to COASTER-net Update. We've got some interesting news out of King's Dominion where they have gone vertical with their brand new wing coaster, their launched wing coaster. Now, Jeff, this has not been any secret whatsoever that we've already seen the coaster going vertical. We know a whole lot about this coaster already. Many leaked layouts have already been posted all over the internets. So you can go find those elsewhere. We're not going to talk about that, but we are going to talk about what we love to talk about here, and that is the theme and what's going on in this whole area of King's Dominion. And King's Dominion has been posting a number of different pictures on their Instagram. We're going to look at a map here a lot today that they posted a few days ago, and then also some recent pictures with some slash marks. So, Jeff, what have we seen here so far?
Well, I mean, it looks like they're trying to unify that whole area, which has kind of been always been a mess. Um, the coaster itself, I mean, you and Danny reported on it, I think back in like 2019. I mean,
Yeah.
like we've been waiting for a replacement for Volcano for a really long time. And this season, at the beginning of the season, we saw I-305 get renamed to Project 305 to essentially remove the racing theme to it. Now, if you visit the park, you'll see that it does have a new sign and they're calling it Project 305. It does have a kind of like an X over the O to kind of tie it into the expedition area. And it looks kind of racy still, but if you look at the asphalt in the background, you'll notice that it's cheetah print. So I think that they're trying to bring this into that land as they unveil this new coaster.
Well, yeah, and I think let's throw up the map now at this point because I think if you look at this map that the park has posted, I don't know if this is up in the park. Maybe it is. I would assume it is somewhere because other people have pictures of it as well. But I'm not sure. I'm not on the ground at King's Dominion. But as you can see on the map, they have in the lower right-hand corner of the map, there are 6 different animals. In the lower left-hand corner, there's a little legend that says there's 6 tribal temples. And the first 3 we know about. There's Tumbili, which is Swahili for monkey that we just learned. We looked that up just recently.
Yep.
Number 2, we have, I can never say this, the Arachnia, which is their scrambler ride in that section. And then we have Reptilian, which is the re-theme of their bobsled coaster.
Yeah.
That's going to be right there in also orange. So we got Tumbili, we have Reptilian. We assume that this new wing coaster is going to go in that back area where Volcano was kind of at. But then we have these other 3 here. Okay, so number 4 says some kind of serpent. So it looks like they're going to be tying in Anaconda, which would make sense into.
That fits the thing.
I don't know if they're going to repaint it and rename it, or if they're just going to keep it as calling it Anaconda, because they do have on here. They don't. It looks like there might be a question mark there at the end of it, so I'm not quite sure. And then 5 and 6 says bird, avian, and I can't read the last word with a question mark. And number 6 says feline something tiger with a question mark. So I'm assuming that the wing coaster is going to have the bird theme on here that correlates to the bird picture in the legend. And then, like you just said, Intimidator 305 is probably going to get rethemed to some sort of feline, some kind of tiger. That you just said that the background has that cheetah print on it. We've seen pictures of people on the ground
I think
that might have that what?
I think cheetah makes sense. It's fast, it's agile. I like cheetah.
I like cheetah. And we've also seen them doing some sort of paint test that sometimes that before they repaint the entire ride, they like to go in and paint over the colors to see if the colors will come through correctly. So we've seen some orange paint, more orange paint. They just repainted all of Reptilian orange. Be put onto that ride as well. So here we are, with the theme. So we kind of assume that the launch coaster is going to have a bird theme that's not really going too far out of the norm. That a lot of launch coasters have bird themes. We got Gatekeeper. We have the parrot coaster at Hot Go, I think it is. We have
Thunderbird, Wild Eagle.
Yeah, Thunderbird, Wild Eagle. We got a whole bunch of I'm wearing my Thunderbird shirt here today. So we were just kind of like trying to find because then King's Dominion went into all of these slash marks in these pictures that you have like these claw marks. And they put a slash mark over Anaconda. They put a slash mark over this airplane on their Instagram. Over one of their I'm assuming that's their base camp restaurant or whatever in that area. Oh no, that's the Outpost Cafe. But
Yeah.
there's also Tumbili in that picture over the Scrambler. And then just recently in the very corner, you can see over Reptilian as well. And then the last one is this research center, which is the old volcano station, right? That's
And if you look at it in grid view, all the slash marks kind of like line up. So it looks like two claws coming in.
Yeah, so you got these three slashes on the one side, two slashes on the other side. So we don't know if those slashes are denoting because I-305 is not a part of this, which I found interesting, and maybe it will be later, but based on that square, I don't think it will be. Um, maybe that's coming later. But so we're trying to figure out names that possibly this could be. And we threw out because like Tumbili is Swahili, and we're trying to throw out names from Swahili, and none of them sound good. Like Jaguar in Swahili is Jaguar, but this isn't really a Jaguar. Like that's more of like South America, like you said. Um, it does say tiger on there. Let me see what tiger in Swahili is. It wouldn't line up exactly to that cheetah print that we saw, but maybe it sounds cool. Let's see what it says. Tiger in Swahili. Oh, that was the Chewy. And then cheetah in Swahili is Duma. So nothing really jumps off the page at me like, oh my God, that's going to be it. Um, and then for the bird, I was trying to look up some cool bird names, and it's just really hard to find anything. And we did a trademark search, and there's really nothing out there yet, right?
No, not that I could tell either. Yeah.
So, any thoughts on the theme here that you have?
Well, I mean, it's really easy to jump to bird with a wing coaster. I know you showed me some pictures, some construction photos that you had found where it tied into that temple theme where each ride was its temple and
Yeah.
kind of had like a brick wall built around it or the beginnings of what looked like it looked like a hand cut stone wall. To me, it looked like an easy pattern that they could put up, but that kind of might be part of a trench or part of the station, or who knows exactly just yet.
Well, and the other big question mark is if you're unifying this whole area, there's one big sore thumb in the middle of it, isn't
There's
there?
kind of two sore thumbs. If
Well, what's the second one?
there's Flight of Fear
Yeah.
and there's the stunt track.
Oh, the stunt track. I always forget the stunt tracks back there. Like Flight of Fear, I feel like you could easily retheme that. You might even be able to keep the alien theme and just do a new entranceway and have it be like you're entering into a temple that is alien themed. Like that's not out of the realm of possibility that you have all these different people who explore the jungle. And there's a lot of theories out there that, aliens built the pyramids and aliens helped build the temples of South America. No, you don't believe any of that? Okay.
uh,
But you could easily throw an alien theme into the middle of the jungle and not be out of the realm of possibility. The stunt track though is a little bit tougher. I don't know about that one.
you heard it here first, guys. Stunt track gone.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised with the way things are going. They did say they are removing low ridership and high maintenance rides, and I don't know if that fits into that bill at Kingston. Like I haven't been there in a while, but I don't recall it having a huge line ever. So just theme wise, like them trying to unify the whole area, but you do have those two little things there that kind of stick out. Um, it's just one of those things where are they going to do it now? Are they going to wait? They're investing a lot in this area right up the front. And there were some rumors at the very beginning of this of them having a show building for this launch wing coaster. And that seems to be cut, that Cedar Fair maybe learned their lesson with the shed. I don't know. Um, but Thunderbird has a really cool, launch from the start that they put you into the barn and they do the thunder and the lightning and they do the smoke and the fog and then the doors open and you launch out. It's a really cool effect. I do wish they would have done something like that because this is really the successor to Volcano too, right? That Volcano had that.
Yeah, to a certain extent, but I mean, like blasting out of the volcano was like a core part of that ride. I think with a wing coaster, the core part of that ride needs to be near miss elements. And like that's pretty easy to do with like ruins and trees and things like that, even if the trees aren't real. But I would rather they spend the money that way if it was either
And
or.
I don't disagree with you, but you and I sat here last year at this time saying, how cool would it be if Iron
You
Menace
blast it out of the volcano.
drafted into or dropped into like a steel molten vat or whatever, and we got all of nothing.
Well, there is a circle down there. That thing that
There,
was on the concrete pad did show up under the track and it lights up and it's a
yeah,
yeah.
and having just been there, their station lights up a little bit. They added some lights to the station to turn red as you exit. It was kind of cool. But I'm just kind of like sitting there like, this would have been that ride in particular. And I Iron Menace was fine. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's an amazing dive coaster. I know some people really like it. I
I
thought
like
it was
it.
a I
Okay. I
thought it was
mean,
pretty good. Like it was a good solid coaster, a good addition to that park. But when I rank it among like Sheikah and Valraven, it's not even in my thinking. Like it's not even in my thought process. Sheikah and Valraven in my mind are so much better. Um, but what would have made that ride more better, not more better, but just better, would be the near miss elements. Exactly. Like having some of those things that you dive into, go around, having some theming onto the actual plot of land. So hopefully this coaster, which I love Thunderbird. I absolutely love Thunderbird. I think the launch is maybe the best launch
mhm.
in all of launches. Top Thrill 2's launch was right there with it. I'll say that. But I think Thunderbird's launch is so good is because it picks up speed as you go and it feels like you're getting faster, whereas so many rides let off at the end and just like lets you coast up. Thunderbird like actually pushes you out even faster as you go out onto the track. So I really like Thunderbird's launch. So that's what I'm excited about mostly. And then if you could add in some of those near miss elements that you can go online and see some layouts and everything, and there's opportunity to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really hope that the launch on this thing pays off because Volcano had one of the better
Yes.
launches as far as an electric launch, at least that I've been on.
Yeah.
Um, but the theme, I mean, the theme and the coaster type, I feel like it just leads itself to like near miss elements. Maybe that block pattern we'll see repeated in different areas because it wouldn't be hard to make, kind of flat scenery pieces using that kind of pattern. That would look cool and interact with the track in a way that it would really enhance the ride.
And
And
if you're gonna go with this temple theme too, you like you said, you could have the ruins, you could have blocks, you have things you go through. That when it's kind of one of those things that when you look at the wing coaster was kind of started, not so much started, but so many of the first ones had those elements. The ones in Europe, obviously, Gatekeeper has the front of the park element. X Flight at Great America has that
out of
awesome
secret
roll
here.
through the tower. That the Wing Coaster's known for that. So hopefully, if they cut the show building, fine, but hopefully we still get some of those fly throughs and stuff. Because a wing coaster without the fly throughs, like Wild Eagle's a good ride, but I think it lacks in the theming department and the fact that the vest locks still, so that still irritates my ass too. Um, but like you said, this is the successor to Volcano, so I feel like there's an expectation here of some sort of theme, of some sort of like elements that you are going to interact with.
Yeah.
Like if you just put a coaster in a parking lot or a coaster in a grass lot, I think it's going to be a letdown at the end of the day.
Yeah, and this isn't like we're comparing like Volcano to a coaster that's opening up like in a different state in a different region. Like
Yeah.
the fan base of King's Dominion loved Volcano, they remember it, and they're going to automatically compare it to it. So like, yeah, it does have to kind of deliver in those areas, I think, or else people are going to automatically be like, it's not as good as Volcano.
Right? Well,
And
I
like,
think people are
yeah, you
already
don't
going to
want
say
that to
that, but
you really don't want that to be your first impression. You want it to
yeah.
feel, you want to feel good about it.
And to be honest, if the launch is as good as Thunderbird's launch, and I only rode Volcano a handful of times, if that.
Same, yeah, same.
And so I don't really have that. Like I just remember everything being so smooth on it, and the launches being great. Um, but I know Thunderbird. I've ridden that plenty of times at Hollywood Nights. Sat on it for multiple rounds. I think one Hollywood Nights I sat on for like 15 trips in a row. Um, so with that ride, if you can replicate that launch and just be equal to it. I'm not even saying being better than Thunderbird's launch. If you can just replicate Thunderbird's launch, that's a winning start to this ride. And then you start adding some of those temple elements and some of those theming elements to it. In the whole grand scheme of this, really, for Cedar Fair, this is going to be a really themed out area in any of their parks. Like we don't see this in
Well, it's
Cedar
been
Fair
their
parks.
trend a little bit. I mean, when they put in Copperhead Strike, they kind of redid the whole area. When they did Candy Apple Grove at King's Dominion, they
Yeah,
redid, yeah, the X whatever the space area at Kings Island. They redid the whole area. I think that this is their trend, or it's part of their DNA now. Is when
I
you
think I think they
yeah,
redo the area, but I feel like this area has a real heavy theme associated with it, and a theme that costs money to do. It's not just,
and
like I feel
it
like
pays
Candy Apple
tribute.
Grove was paint and signs and
Well, they redid they did pavers. They took out all
yeah,
the
that's
black.
true.
They
Or just like
did.
cement work and that kind of stuff. Like this is like trees and architecture and
Yeah.
it's
But it also pays tribute to the parks past, with the animals and stuff like that.
absolutely. So hopefully they post some more stuff and we get some more clues because, like I said, the ride itself is out there, and I'm assuming that's true, or we're gonna get something really close to that. But we're kind of looking at just like we did with Twisted Timbers, that we knew it was an RMC, we knew what was happening, but we broke down every little thing to try and get the theme down. But I think they kind of gave us a really good head start here. And now I think there's also a clear clue that I-305 is going to be some sort of big cat themed
Yeah, I
coaster.
think the bird is just so obvious that they're going to wrap this in with it so that they
Mm.
have like a little extra wow factor.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we get some really cool lead cars out of this too. That we
Yeah,
see some cool bird
big
theme.
coasters do have cool trains a lot of the time.
That parrot coaster at Hot Go, I think it is, has a really cool
Yeah, cool paint
car
job.
structure. That one's the coolest one. So hopefully we see something like that too, where they spend some money. And Gatekeeper has a really nice lead
Yeah,
car. Like,
Gatekeeper, Wild Eagle, they have cool.
yeah,
I don't know what Thunderbirds looks like, but
Thunderbird doesn't have
they have a cool
lead
one.
cars, I don't think. Does it? Does it on here? I don't
It's
think
not
it does. I don't
sure.
remember. So we'll try and keep you updated if they post anything new. Like I said, construction is currently going on in the park. The entire they have it's gone vertical. They have track down. The colors of it are green and gray, kind of like a
Launch staff looks to be in
well,
place.
maybe they should just call it Southern Raptor,
I
right?
don't know. Do they have raptors in
I don't know.
Africa?
They got Raptors everywhere.
Yeah.
And maybe they can call I-305 Wildcat then, and just go all in on Cedar Point coaster names. So, um,
You'll
any final thoughts here?
I don't know. I'm just waiting to see if it's a thrilling 32 contender.
Well, who knows at this point if that's even a thing anymore, right? We still should we reveal the winner right now? And the winners of the no, we won't. We'll keep it a secret. So we're gonna get that done eventually. Danny and I will find a schedule that meets up. And we'll
In
get
time for voting next
in
December.
time for voting. We're just gonna reveal the winner and then open up voting immediately. So the same program. So as always, I am Andy Robarchuk from Chicago, Illinois.
I'm Jeff Goodman from Long Island, New York.
Right on, Ride Warriors.